Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Kind of a surprise here. I just finished up Liberal Crime Squad, and I didn't really feel like recording anything else today. I will be starting Jagged Alliance 2 again, and even though I've removed Dynamic War from the top part of the playlists, I still have, I think, 2 more videos coming for it. I just need to finish them, and then that playlist is done. But I've preemptively moved it off the top of the playlists there. This video is going in the junk drawer playlist, and it may or may not be there for very long. I may end up having to delete this video. I don't know. I'm listening to Soma FM again in the background, and if anything gets picked up that's copyright infringing, I will be deleting the video. So you have been warned. But we are playing Kerbal Space Program right now. It is version 0.12x3. Hopefully the video quality is good. I'm also testing new video quality settings in one of my encoders. This whole video is basically just a test, and we're going to test some rockets on our trip to Mun. I will give you some spoilers here. You better skip ahead about 30 seconds if you don't want spoilers, but we're going to be landing on Mun. I do have a rocket saved that, if worst comes to worst, we will go ahead and use that, and eventually it will get us on Mun. I know it has the capabilities for it, which the hardest thing about getting to Mun is simply getting a rocket that can get you out of Earth orbit. Landing on Mun is a whole nother beast. But here we go. After you click start on Kerbal Space Program, you can go through the settings and everything yourself. I don't think I need to adjust anything. But for now, you only have these two options. You can't click on the launch pad. Well, yeah, you can. I guess you can click on the launch pad and load one of your pre-saved ships. We're not going to load anything I've made just yet. We're going to save those for last resorts. We're going to try to build a new one here. But if you don't have any ships at all, you go to the vehicle assembly building here and choose yourself a command module. You'll only have this one, so just double click on it. And then I'm going to single click and drag it up out of there, because it's going to be fairly tall and we don't want it hitting the ground here as we build it. Just move it once and that's enough. Let's see, I'm not going to explain everything. I hope that you know a little bit about Kerbal Space Program. Let me remove that counter. I don't need that. But yeah, I hope you know a little bit about Kerbal Space Program. If not, download it yourself. Go watch some other videos about it. I learned about this through one of Jeff's streams, and I fell in love with it watching him have fun with it. It's just an insanely fun game. It's all about trial and error, and plenty of science. I think that we're going to name this one the Plump Rocket Mark 1. There we go. Actually, you know what? We gotta use Roman numerals for this. Rockets are serious business, and that means Roman numerals when possible. But you've got this capsule. You have to have this capsule. I am gonna place a parachute on it, and like I said, I am using some mods. Unfortunately, I am not going to provide links to every single mod in the description. You'll have to simply find those on your own. So you may not have all these options. I am going to put a parachute on the top of my little rocket here, primarily because we're probably going to have to use it. I don't know if it will deploy on Mun, the moon, because Mun has no atmosphere, I believe. But it's worth a shot, because I'll probably not be able to land with rockets if we even get close. Then I want one of these fuel tanks. That is the RCS fuel tank. And we're going to put some thrusters on it. Turn on the symmetry to have 4 thrusters right there. These will help balance us out. And they can also provide a little bit of reverse thrust if you're trying to slow down. Not much, but a little bit. Underneath that, what to do here? We got to really think about how this rocket's going to go. Because weight and thrust become a huge factor with your rocket. The more weight you have, the more thrust you have to add, and eventually it can just spiral out of control to where you can't possibly provide enough thrust to lift everything into orbit. For one, your computer won't be able to handle what you build. I think that we'll put... This is tough. This is going to be our little Mun lander, by the way. And I think we'll put insulated fuel tank right there, followed by this insulated fuel tank. And they kind of hook up. And it's not too bad. We got a nice little pad of fuel here for our Kerbals to set on already. I guess the whole thing, it's a rocket, it's all fuel. They're all setting on a huge explosive. And on the bottom of this fuel tank, let's see, we've got thrust, a max thrust of 65 and a max thrust of 70. Burn rate of 4, they both got a burn rate of 4. Again, all these mods might not be balanced. I'm not entirely sure. It's just something to add more spice to it. Different parts to test out different things. There's a whole Saturn V that you can download that I might make a separate video of, actually assembling the Saturn V and the lunar module and then trying to land on Mun. I haven't done that yet because I haven't reinstalled those parts since Mun came out. That does sound like fun. And then after this, actually attached to that, support structure. Can I attach these to this? Wait, almost had them. There we go. Yeah, I think that will attach them just about. That should be good. That might be too high, but we'll find out. Maybe. This is if we even make it to Mun and can slow down enough to try to land. Good luck to us. We are going to need it. Underneath that, I'm going to put a stack decoupler. That does not look right. That does not look like there's going to be any support there. Our module is probably going to fall off on launch, but we're going to try that. Underneath that, let's see. I do want this. That is an advanced SAS module. And on that, actually... 4, yeah, we'll leave that on 4. I'm going to put some wings, and we'll put those between the legs there, so that they don't hit each other. Okay. So we've got the decoupler, the module. Underneath there, we need some fuel, I think. We need this fuel tank. Actually, maybe we're going to put 2 fuel tanks. And we've got 2 engines here that we can attach to it. 200 thrust on this one, 175 thrust on this one. Hopefully by the time this whole section reaches space, we're already out of the atmosphere, so we don't need that much thrust. What's more important in space is being able to do long burn times, I believe. So we'll just switch to the lower thrust. It burns fuel slower. Underneath that, we're going to put, well, no, that's not how it goes. If we put it like that, we'll screw up. We want to put this stack decoupler, and then underneath that, we'll put this module. I'm going to put even more wings right here. Put it in line with these ones, kind of. It doesn't matter, I don't believe. It's mostly just for looks at this point. And I think underneath that, we'll have this. No, I want one more fuel. This, well, actually, you know what? I take that back. We really need to decide how we're going to start dispersing our weight here. Having 2 more fuel tanks and then branching out would be kind of a waste of weight, I think. We could do this and start branching this off into a tri-stage here, a tri-rocket, whatever. What to do here? I'm kind of building the same rocket that I already built and got to mun with. What I need is more parts. This whole game is kind of like playing with Legos, and the more parts you've got, the more crazy shit you can build. How about... These are solid fuel boosters. I'm going to use these only in the very first stage of launch. Primarily because they weigh a decent amount and they don't burn for very long. Only 25 seconds, and then you've got to jettison them, or they're just dead weight. So the last thing I want to do is take a bunch of these into space with me, because by that point they're worthless. They're too much weight. Unfortunately, this right here, this little bitty rocket, I cannot use. I might show you guys why. Because as soon as we use this engine right here, horrible things happen. Okay, you know what? We'll go ahead and switch this to this. I will just pretty much build one of the same rockets I've already built, I think. Do that 4 like that. This one needs max thrust of 200. We'll use the big engine for that. And before we continue, we kind of need to strut these together. And we'll strut them right here at those edges there, those little lips. If you don't strut them together, they will flap about in the wind and bang each other until they break. There we go. You don't have to strut them up that many times either. I'm pretty sure like once at the bottom and maybe once right here would be more than sufficient. But they may melt in what's coming up, what we're going to add next. We'll add... These right here are very important. These are the radial decouplers. They break off separate stages. These fuel stages right here. And we want to break these off as soon as possible, because they will expend themselves in about 25 seconds. Let's go ahead and move these engines down onto that stage so that they all launch. So these engines will burn on the first stage. Then we'll press the space bar. These decouplers will break off. These engines will fall off. These engines will keep burning. This thing could not get into space yet, though. I think we'll place more radial decouplers. We're going to place them right over these ones right here. It does cook them, but thankfully they don't burn for that long. They only burn for 25 seconds, and we'll jettison them before they can actually do any harm, any real harm to our rocket here. So this could probably get us into space. I'm almost positive that it could. We'll have these are all the struts and everything, they don't matter. We'll have this explode after we're done. Actually, hang on a second. All these fuel tanks, you move down onto the first stage there too. And then I want this decoupler right here down into that stage. Then this engine will burn, and then we'll break off, and then it's just the module right there left. Let's go ahead and I guess we'll add these little dinky rockets right here, and I'll show you why I can't actually use them, which is highly unfortunate. We'll switch this to 4 symmetry. Could place it right here between these. Well, no, because they'll hit the lunar legs right there. Place it right here. I don't want to cook those wings. I'm not sure how much of a flame they'll put out if they do work. Maybe they'll work since I restarted. But pretty small fuel tank. Obviously doesn't weigh very much. Does not provide very much thrust. Got a very dinky engine there. It's not the size that counts, right? And there they are, all 4 of them. And we're going to put them right here on the first stage as well. And then their decouplers they can fall off whenever these engines fall off. And the Plump Rocket Mark 1, which is basically the same as my other rocket that I already built, is now ready for launch. Let's go ahead and check out the launch pad here. Whenever you're ready to launch, just click the launch button. And I think... There you go. That's why I can't use those little bitty rockets. For some reason, those engines that I strapped to them, the model doesn't work. I guess they haven't been updated properly for this version of the game. So they just glitch out and they grow to like 5 times their own size and they break off. Which is highly unfortunate because now I've got these decouplers that are added weight. Anyways, I've got my stabilizers turned on. You can see my wings adjusting right here, balancing things out. There's us on the launch pad. Fairly small rocket, actually. I have seen some insanely huge rockets be built, which we might actually get to. I may try to build one. A large rocket that will bring my computer to its knees. This right here, that is where we're going. That is where we're going to try to go. Again, since I didn't take very many risks with this rocket, we might actually get there. Here we go. Oh, dang it. You know what? I should put more of these medium-sized thrusters right here, actually. Seeing as how those little dinky ones won't fit. They've almost expended all their fuel. And I'm not nearly quick enough. This isn't going to work. They should have brought me up to at least about 100 meters a second. And we'll separate there. And now we're losing too much speed here. This isn't going to work. We've got a little bit of a wobble going on, but for the most part, the stabilizers will be able to balance it out. 7.89. Yeah, we're slowly gaining speed. But I don't think it's enough. We're only at 3,000 meters after a minute. And honestly, with this rocket, there's not anything I can do until we get out of the atmosphere. It is so heavy and so slow rising that if I try to steer it at all, it'll more or less just glide and fall back to the earth as a glider that explodes. So we're halfway through the second stage of fuel there, the second canister. And we're almost at 10,000 meters. That might not be too bad. Okay. Second canister is done. We're now at 50% fuel for this stage. You can see we're slowly leaving the atmosphere. I haven't even started adjusting our course for MUN yet. Let's twist. Whoops, I might have rotated way too far there. There we go. I don't want to actually move the ship too much. We're still not going very fast. We could easily start sliding back down or gliding through the atmosphere. And we've just went pretty much straight up. Haven't had to fight it at all. Again, primarily because of the wings, I think. Third canister is now empty at 33,000 feet. 25% fuel remains in this stage. And it is time to kind of manually take control of this and start tilting us over. What we want to do is get into an orbit so we can be picked up by MUN in its lunar pass. I'll pull up the map here in a minute. I want to get us kind of angled where I think is right. I don't really know what I'm doing, I'll be honest. Like I said, I'm not an expert at this game, but I did see a stream of it from Mr. Major, and he got to MUN. So this is what he did. He told us students to aim at it. There we go. I'll turn on my RCS there for just a second, and we're about ready to separate. There we go. So we're on to the third stage, fired up, and hopefully this will be enough to get us to orbiting speed. orbiting speed is about 2,600 meters per second. And pulling up the map here, you can see our orbit is slowly getting higher. And we're just about on the same level as Mun here. This is Mun's orbit, right here, and we need to make it out to Mun as it goes around and get caught up in its orbit. And I think we will. And of course, Mun and Kurth here both orbit the Sun, which, if you're not careful, you will end up orbiting as well. And your poor little Kerbals here will die in space, alone and cold. I'm not sure if I'm aiming the right way. Let's rotate just a little bit. Turn on sensitive control. Caps locks. Yeah, pressing caps lock allows you to have fine control over your ship here. And I think that should be good. We're still not even out of Kurth orbit yet. And honestly, at the angle I'm launching, we never will be out of Kurth orbit. We'll never be able to orbit Kurth. The best I can do at this angle is either launch myself completely out of Kurth orbit or come crashing back into it. It's not a very good angle. And we're almost up to speed at 2,300. Our orbit is going to start growing very quick here. Once I get up to about 2,400, let's start slowing down here. We've got half of one tank of fuel left, which is actually pretty good, because the engines I've got on my lunar module, believe it or not, they're actually fairly powerful. So we've got plenty of fuel left for getting into Mun orbit there. Like I say, the mods, they kind of unbalance things. If you want a really tough challenge, just try the game with no mods, which you probably will be your first couple times. Okay, so actually Mun is coming this way, I believe. I hope so. If not, it's okay. We'll just fast forward time until it swings by and hopefully picks us up. Yeah, so our orbit is starting to grow much quicker here. And we got to be careful, because if we get much further than Mun's orbit there, we will actually fly out of Kurth's orbit completely. Okay, so we're still good on the same axis, the same level. And let's get ready to go ahead and cut the engine here. There we go. We should be picked up by Mun here. It should pick us up and actually bring us into its orbit, but I'm going to fire up the engines just a little bit more. I want to get our line here at least out to it. Our apophis. How is that pronounced? Apophis kisses. And there we go. That will bring us right into it. Unfortunately, for some reason I can't click on it. There we go. I can target Mun and lock my view to it. And it's going to come around and hopefully pick us up right around here and bring us into its orbit. I'll actually go ahead and fast forward time here, because we could watch this for several hours, I believe. 10 minutes, 11 minutes, and we're only this far. Thankfully, they added this time warp feature very recently. I believe in the same 0.12 update or 0.11 update. And, yes, it makes the game much more enjoyable. Otherwise, we would have had to have waited for 40 minutes even to get here. And they added this whole map thing, which shows you your orbit. I'm telling you, they just keep making the game better and better. It's come quite a long ways since I first saw it. Okay. Almost an hour and a half into our journey, and I'm kind of thinking that Mun is going to pass in front of us. I'm going to speed it up just a bit more here. Okay, let's slow it down, because it's going to start affecting our orbit, if it will. If we're going to get close enough, our orbit is just a little bit up off the same plane, it looks like. We're going 510 meters per second. And you know, I'm going to fast forward it just a little bit more. 2 times is fairly slow. We're still several hours out, or not hours, but probably like 20 minutes out, I think. Go a little bit quicker there. 10 times. I just want to be careful because several times I've done this, I've actually had it on fast forward too much and shot out into space before I could even slow down. Well, we're starting to slow down. 480 meters a second. That's Earth pulling us back in with its gravity. It's like, no, Kerbals, don't go. Don't leave me out here. Okay, a little bit quicker. I think the Earth is slowing us down so much it's making it so that we're not... Yeah, actually, hang on. You can see our orbit is being pulled down. Okay, so we need to speed up just a bit. You know, one thing I hope they do with this game, I hope they unlock the camera. It has boundaries, and it makes it fairly hard to track things. Okay, so we're pushing our orbit back out. But again, I think we're just going to be a bit too slow. That's fine. If we are too slow, if Mun passes us, we'll just reach our apoapsis here and go back into orbit and fast forward a few times until we either get picked up by Mun or flung out into space. Okay, we're done here. That should be good. Let's go ahead and check it. Fast forward it. Come on, Mun, pick us up. You know you want to. Trailing behind it like this is actually fairly dangerous. I'd rather be coming in closer. Yep, there we go. It really screwed up our orbit. Damn it. Wow. Cannot believe it messed it up that much. Where is it? I have trouble believing that. So how the heck, where will I aim to fix that? I think maybe, should I aim at this thing? I'm not sure what that means. But see, now we are being shot off into space because we were trailing behind Mun, I guess. You know what? Actually, instead of speeding up, maybe I should face the other way and slow down. Okay, yeah, I think what I was originally planning to do there was a fairly dumb move. Speeding up will just make things worse, because that's what Mun is doing to me right now, you'll see. It's slowly speeding me up and flinging me into space, which is unacceptable, Mun. We're just gonna floor it. Floor it. Never mind. We'll jettison that stage, and it can go flying off into space. That rocket tank there, this is its orbit. It's off to circle the sun. Okay, let's fire up. We're going to slow ourselves way down here. You can see our orbit is drastically changing. Maybe with any luck it'll get pulled into Mun here. Slow down, slow down. God damn it. I'm almost out of fuel here on that first tank. Okay, let's bring this around and lock it there. Turn on my RCS too. Stabilize me. Well, what's this doing to my orbit? You know what, I don't think this is helping at all. Okay, that is speeding me up. Well, I don't want to speed up. Damn it. Okay. It's like, I want to slow down, please. So we'll just leave it set right here for a moment. 552. It doesn't know if it wants to gain speed or lose speed here. We're just going to slowly burn here. Would love to get this fixed. Now it's rotating back. What if we just speed up the thrust here? Everybody's scared except Jeb. Of course. I don't know why they're scared. And are we gaining speed or losing speed now? Okay, now we are... I don't think there's any way to get out of this orbit. I have to decide... Well, that was the final burn. Shit. I'm out of fuel now. Okay, that was the final burn. Well, Kerbals, I hope you don't mind being thrown into space, but I'm just going to fast forward it here. We failed on that launch. Wait, no. We didn't fail. As soon as we left Mun, Kurth pulled us back into its orbit. You can see we're going to crash. We're going to land. The Kerbals are going to go home. Wait, what? I have no idea how that happened. I think I just went through the planet. Wait, or? What is my orbit? Is it through the planet? Behind the planet? I don't know what happened there. Fast forward and find out. Here we go. We're gonna crash into it. See, actually the oceans are magical and they're hollow. You can actually just fly through the oceans. Is my guess here. We're going insanely fast. If they ever add friction to this, so that your spacecraft burns up in re-entry, that would just be perfect. And there we go. Our chutes should have ripped off, and we are going to die and crash into the ocean now. Farewell, Kerbals. Thank you for serving us. Try to use these RCS thrusters to slow down, but no. Sploosh. So, here's the events on that rocket. Let's see. Structural failure instantly. Those were those little engines that broke off. Fuel tanks instantly crashed into launch pad. I'll have to replace them with something else next time. Solid booster damaged by engine exhaust. Yeah. That was, well, those quick boosters were actually cooking my other rockets. They cooked them for 25 seconds. Or 24, and then they were out of fuel. It took them about the same amount of time to fall back down to the Earth. That's pretty cool. Let's see what else happened. There was a couple other things that went wrong. Stack decoupler was damaged. Yeah, that's as soon as my engine kicks on, it roasts them. That's fine. They're no longer needed. Separation of stage 2 confirmed. Structural failure. When did that happen? Oh yeah, that was right before we crashed into the ocean there. The parachutes ripped off. Maybe our command module was too heavy with all that stuff attached to it. Of course, we were coming in at like 3,000 meters a second or something. And then everyone died. So, I think I will actually call this video here, see how large it is after encoding. And whenever we come back, we will build another rocket. I'll try to do something a little bit more drastic than this one. Like, this one was fun. It could definitely get us to Mun, as you saw. But at the same time, it's not a very good design. Yeah, look at that. The engines. For some reason, those tiny little engines just morph into giant ones. But it's not a very daring design. There's nothing, artsy about it, I guess you could say. This is just purely a professional design. We need to spice it up a little bit and see what else we can design here. I might even be back with some more parts.